everybody, I'm back with another video, and as you can see, the title is on self-love and how important it is to love yourself first before loving anybody else. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment, and that would be greatly appreciated. So it's so important for people to acknowledge that self-love is one of the most prized possessions. It is not selfish to love yourself more than anybody else. It is not selfish to do more for yourself, to be by yourself, and to try to better yourself. I don't know how many times people lose themselves in relationships because they lack self-love, because they're trying to get the other person to love themselves more than they even love their own selves. And that's impossible. You can't expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself. You have to learn how to love yourself first. You have to create space. You have to set boundaries. And if that person can't understand that being alone sometimes is important, then maybe that they are not content with how they're living. Maybe they're not content, or maybe they're not happy enough alone by themselves. I don't know how many times I put my happiness into relationships. Like, I try to make the guy love me more than I love my own self, and that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way. You have to love yourself first. You have to learn how to be by yourself. You have to learn how to enjoy being alone. It's nothing wrong with being in solitude every now and then, because at the end of the day, it will make you stronger. So when you do get into a relationship, and if that person does leave you, you will understand that you won't be so dependent on them. It's like codependency. Like, you need that person to move on. You need that person to live. You need that person to breathe and survive. And it shouldn't be that way. So I would say to really try your very best to just be a little selfish with your time. Be a little selfish with your space. And that person will understand eventually. If they don't, maybe you need to find another partner, another friend. But in order for you to keep your sanity, in order for you to gain strength, you need to create space. You need to create balance. You need to set a little boundaries. So this is for not just ladies, but it's also for men also. It's so funny because I don't know how many times I was in a relationship and I would break up with a guy, or we just stopped talking, and it's like guys felt that I was like, okay, alone. They was like, oh, Yasmin must be alone. They had this radar on me. They knew that I was by myself, and I would jump into that relationship so fast, and that wasn't a good. It wasn't a good move for me. Sometimes you need to be by yourself before jumping into another relationship, so you can see where your head is at, so you can see how you thinking, so you can get clarity. That was my biggest mistake, and I don't do that anymore. So I think the longest I've ever been alone by myself was probably like a year and a half. If the first few months is probably torture, but eventually, I realized the less you're around a person, the stronger you become. And it's so true, because you starting to learn about yourself. You're appreciating yourself more. You're loving yourself more. You know what's good for you. You're learning things that you won't tolerate, things you would tolerate. And so when you get into another relationship, you will know how to handle different situations. So I think when I came out here, when I was in New York, I was alone for a little while also. But I think a lot of times I jumped into relationships too fast because I felt the need to be around someone. Like, I felt the need to have a companion, and I just felt that without that I was lost. Without that I wasn't complete. And we have to get into the mindset that being alone, you are complete enough being alone. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself. So much things, so much powerful things can happen when you're alone by yourself. You praying more, you manifest the best in your life. You just, your mind is clear. You're able to see and feel things differently than when you was in a relationship, because you always around somebody. Your mind is always crowded. You always hearing somebody telling you this, telling you that, to do this and do that. You can't do that when you around people all the time. You have to be able to just be content with being alone, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being a little selfish at times, and not just in relationships with your boyfriend or girlfriend, but with your friends. It's okay to set yourself apart every now and then to get clarity again. Clear your mind and see where you at and see where you're supposed to be in life. What's your next move? There's nothing wrong with that. You have to be mentally strong at the end of the day. You have to be mentally strong enough to be by yourself. And you will really find the pursuit of happiness that way, honestly. So, just learn to set boundaries, create that space, like I said, and be open. Be open, explain to your friends, explain to you in your relationship, explain to that person why you need that time alone, why you need that space, and just set healthy boundaries. You don't have to be cluttered with that person. And the absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that is so true. The more you're away from the person, the more you not underneath them, and you doing your own thing. You going out every now and then. You treating yourself out to dinner alone every now and then. You treating yourself to the spa just by yourself, just that alone, that me time. If you could explain that to that person, and if they don't understand, maybe that's not the right person you need to be with. It's very important to do that. It's for your own health. They're being selfish if they can't understand that. If they cannot understand how important it is to be by yourself, then maybe they're not the right person that you need to be with. So yes, really try to indulge in that. Learn to be by yourself, and watch watch so many things will blossom for you. You be like, oh my goodness, this is what I could have done then. This is what's going to happen. Oh my God, if I would have just realized this back then, if I would have just seen the possibilities of, if you just be alone by yourself, and you're not losing yourself. And when you're not losing yourself, you're not afraid to be by yourself. You're okay being by yourself, being alone. And as people will see that, people will feel that aura, people will pick up that vibe from you. People will see that you're a survivor, you're strong, you're empowered. You could do it alone. You're not dependent on anybody. And that's what self-love is all about. Self-love is loving yourself first, doing for yourself first, appreciating yourself first before putting anybody else before you. In order to help somebody else, you have to help yourself. In order to help somebody else, you have to help yourself first. And it did take me a long time to understand that, but I'm glad I understand it now. But it's really important. And it's not, I can't stress enough how it's not being selfish at all. You're not being selfish when you're loving yourself first. Because once you love yourself first, you'll be able to help the next person. You can't help anybody else. You can't do for anybody else if you don't do for yourself first. And that's the most important thing you could do. I thank you for subscribing and liking my videos. And so don't forget to subscribe to your girl, Yasmin Yahiri J. You can also find me on Instagram at Yasmin_Yahiri_J. You can find me there, and I'm on Facebook at Yahiri Yaya. And I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the support. And leave some comments. Let me know what would you like to hear in my next video. And yeah.
Yeah.